Welcome back to a Stutter Podcast. I'm your host, Victor Long, my co-host, Mark. How you? I'm gonna try and not do my hand movements as much because I know I'm in your shot right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm
No
gonna, I'm
problem.
gonna try to tame the hands. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good. Doing up and close and personal. You got a new phone case, I see.
Yes, sir.
What was the last caller?
It was It was a cassette tape.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same rubber. Everybody loves doing the rubber
Classic,
now.
you know.
Doing good. How are you
Always
doing?
do the rubber. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah,
good, man.
That's good. That's good.
New Tyler album came out today. Listen to that
I
this
heard
morning.
about it. I heard about like the what is it? Like the almost like the announcement, like leading up to it. I felt like it's like I don't know. I felt like the last like couple weeks or so, I was like seeing a lot about it.
Yeah, I'm not even. He started his rollout like a week ago. Like it wasn't like a multiple week thing. Like at most 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But he did
Probably.
have like some promo videos he put together, and it was just kind of like some people were diving deep into what it meant and all that stuff. Because in the video, it's like a warship and like a bunch of soldiers are like walking up, and you hear that marching sound, which opens up the album. And they're going into this tank as if they're being shipped somewhere. And there's kind of like people were saying this analogy for like artists that just seem kind of copy paste. And they all got into it, and then they were about to take off. But then he was like the person like checking everybody's IDs before they walked into it. And then after they got packed in, he blows up the container, basically kind of being like trying to get rid of all these like copycats. Everybody make their own original shit. And then there was a couple people that like which I'm realizing now they weren't on the project, at least from what I could tell. But like Lil Yachty in Paris, Texas, which are people he's touring with. So I guess that's why they were a part of that.
Okay.
But they were a part of that walk up line, and they got like dismissed from the line. Those two guys. So
they got saved.
Yeah.
There's lore.
Yeah. So that was kind of like people's speculation about it, which kind of makes sense when you think about the whole album. And it was great. Like a lot of great messages in there. His mom is a part of it again, and it's kind of like giving him advice. Mark. Stop trying to communicate with the aliens, brother. Yeah, a lot of great messages in there, a lot of advice, he talked about his own personal shit and like just other stuff that's been going on. So it was a pretty good project. I appreciate the album. I like it. He already announced his tour. It's definitely that one. Oh, Jesus.
It's annoying me.
There you go.
Still there.
Good project overall. And yeah, I love it. Mark, I had a bunch of stuff lined up that I wanted to speak about, but then things come across my desk. But first and foremost, I want to get to this before we get into anything else. Something happened to me that hasn't happened in a very long time, and I wanted to share it with you.
So you had a dream.
Yeah.
You had a dream. Like, it's the only thing, bro. There was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks where it was just dreams after dreams. And I was like, bro, this man's going through something.
And for y'all that don't know,
this man's dreams are intense.
Yeah, I don't remember them often, but when I remember them, there's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Yeah. There's been plenty of dreams that I've had like that since I was a kid that I remember to this day. Yeah, there's two things in my life that are very hectic: my sneezes and my dreams. And I had a dream. This was honestly like a week and a half ago, but I woke up and I wrote it down just because I wanted to tell it to you guys. So I'm gonna pull up those exact notes that I have not touched and have not looked at since that morning.
Okay.
Trying to find this. All right, so should I read the notes and then tell the dream, or how do you want me to do this? Or just go line by line. I'm gonna just read. I'm gonna read. Okay, it starts here. This is verbatim what I wrote down this morning. Half asleep, do not remember any of this. Culture place with hundreds of people sat around.
What do you mean by that? Like culture place, or do you even know what that means?
I'll get into it in a minute.
Okay.
Woman making pizza.
Okay, it's very.
Pizza looks super. I left out a certain detail that I wrote there because I want to save it for the story. Pizza looks super good. Super sexual vibes. Go to bathroom because I'm uncomfortable and plan to escape. Woman follows me into the bathroom and stabs me. See random faces and friends from high school. Yeah. And then there's some other stuff that I remember to write down so I can ask you about it. So basically, or any comments before we get into this?
I mean, I just don't know what the vibe is.
Neither do I.
You said pizza, and then next thing you know, it's sexual vibes. But then you're going to try to escape, and then you're getting stabbed. So
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get the gist of this.
So my general understanding of it was when I said culture place, it was just like a lot of like it was like an artistic place kind of thing.
Okay.
Like there was like a lot of art, a lot of artists and things where like people were creating, right? But it was like mad culty feeling. Like I was like, I don't feel comfortable here.
Okay.
And then there was a table, like a dinner table, like a long dinner table, like a lot of people sat around, and there was this woman making pizza. Right. Now I sat down at the table because I'm like, I'm still a part of this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I ended up here, but like I like pizza. See women making pizza. I sit down. I'm hungry for pizza. So the way the table's set up is like it's kind of like there's everybody sitting on the outer parts, but in the center of it, she's making the pizza.
So it's like
So we're-
hibachi type of.
Kind of,
Like she's in.
sort of. We're just kind of watching her make it,
Uh-huh.
almost like a bar kind of thing.
Okay.
She's working in the middle of the pit, and we're all kind of sat around.
She just got a whole brick oven in there too.
Yeah.
While at
Don't
it.
try and rationalize my dreams,
I'm
Mark.
just trying to, I'm trying to picture myself there. You
So
know?
everything here is from like you see her making the dough and everything. She's laying it out. But what like ruined it for me because I'm like, yo, like I'm about to. It smells amazing in here. It looks good.
Okay.
She's kneading the dough right on the table. She's like doing everything right. You know how you layer the sauce, right?
Yeah.
So she's doing that, right? She lays it flat. She gets ready to spread the sauce, whatever she's using to make the pizza. But every time before she does it, she's doing everything by hand. Before she starts to add the stuff onto the pizza, she wipes in between her ass cheeks and then spreads it on the pizza. So I promise you, I'm not making this up. I see this and I'm like, like that's drawn. Like I'm not, like, thank God I didn't have any yet. But like that's disgusting. Like, but it's like it looked like she's making like people are still eating it. She's making the fuck out of these. But every time she makes a new pie, she digs in between, like karate chop in between her cheeks, and then spreads whatever she got out of it onto the pizza.
Okay.
So that's happening. I'm like, nah, like that just ruined it for me. I'm cool. But then as I'm looking, I was like, after I noticed that, I started
What
to
if she had like a rag in between her cheeks and she was?
I
wiping
saw
off
everything,
the
bro.
sauce?
The angle I saw everything.
Yeah.
I saw her back angle. So I saw everything that was going on. She was wearing clothes. She wasn't nude. She was in jeans and like she had an apron on and everything. But I guess she just like dug through jean and underwear and just wedge swiped. I see that. I'm like, immediately I'm not eating this.
Mhm.
But then I start to look at the people that are also sat around and like everybody's just like kissing on each other and like it's mad sex cult vibes. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable here. Like, and it's like they're doing it, but they're not like ashamed of. They're just kind of like doing it, but like looking at you as they do. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be here. I was like, this is weird. So I get up to leave, right? And there's like a bathroom. So I go back there. There's like other people like congregating, talking, whatever.
Mhm.
So I go to the bathroom and there's like bathroom attendants and shit. Still don't know where I'm at. Everything is still confusing to me. I'm like, I gotta figure out a way to get out of here, but I'm gonna excuse myself, go to the bathroom, like hide in a stall or something, kind of like figure everything out. So I go in there, and then like a bathroom attendant, this woman follows me in there.
The
And, like,
bathroom attendant.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like in my mind, like that's what I remember it being. Like I guess somebody who works in the bathrooms like
Okay.
saw me go in and like followed behind me in there.
Okay.
So I go to use the bathroom, like, let me just use the urinal. And like as I'm using it, somebody stabs me in the neck with like some type of like something to make me fall asleep.
Okay. So they just like drugged you then.
Yeah.
Syringe or something.
Yeah. So that happens. And like the minute that starts to happen and I feel myself fading out, I like panicked in real life so much that I woke up. And that was my dream.
Okay. I mean,
I promise you I'm okay.
I hope so. I mean, from everything I'm seeing or everything you're telling me, this sounds very just like what would you call that? Kind of like
I hope you know because I don't.
I mean, I don't really know, but like what I'm picturing is just like this kind of like group of like this like secret place kind of where people who are like rich or whatever go
Yeah, it's
to.
that kind of vibe.
You know what I mean? Like that's like
It's
what
like-
I pictured.
I dreamt of a Diddy party without knowing about Diddy
you know what's
parties.
funny? I was gonna say, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, this
yeah.
sounds like a Diddy party.
Kind of those type of vibes.
But they're just eating pizza.
Yeah, like it was no famous people. It was just like that. I mean, maybe that's what like triggered it.
Maybe, yeah.
Because like
I don't know where
this
the
was
pizza came from, but maybe you were just hungry.
that's
for
yeah, that's
pizza.
just a me thing. But like that was like a week and a half ago. That's when like the Diddy stuff started to like really, the baby oils and stuff was at its peak. So maybe that's where that came from. No baby oil in my dream. There was some kind of oil she was rubbing up on. I don't know what that was, but
It's a lot of pizza sauce.
yeah, I hope so. But yeah, I wish we had somebody that can like just like, oh, I analyze dreams, but I don't think there's anything you could even like make of that. Because there's like common stuff. It's like, oh, like you get into a fight and you swing and it feels like you're not doing nothing, or you can't run fast enough, or like a tooth falls out. People have or like your hair falls out. There's like kind of stuff like that. It's like, oh, like that means that you lack affection in your life. Some shit. I don't know. I don't do those things, but people like have the answers for that. Yeah, I don't think there's an answer in those books for this.
Nah, I just think you really are hungry, and I don't know about the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to be like
You're
knocked out.
You're just feeling uncomfortable.
I don't know how they knew I was trying to leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you were just going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was just like, maybe they saw my face and it was like, yeah,
he's not.
he snapped out of it.
Yeah, he's not one of us.
He's not about it.
We got going.
So yeah, that was my dream.
Wow. I mean, honestly, it's not as bad as I thought.
Really?
Yeah, you had some other pretty intense ones.
Like what? I know sometimes.
I think you said one before there was like a car crash or something.
Yeah, that was like years ago. That was when Q was still here, and it was about him.
Yeah,
woke up crying and shit.
Like that was intense. That was an intense.
Scared the shit out of Q too.
Yeah,
I forgot that I can't tell him that type of shit.
Yeah, compared to like what you just told me now, I don't think it's as bad. I mean, you got stabbed technically. That's bad, but
but the fact that I woke up feeling genuine fear is what got me. Like I felt like in the dream, like I guess I was kind of, like lucid dreaming. I kind of had a moment, like a slight moment there where I knew it was like, all right, like that's it, story over. Because like I just felt my chest get tight, and I woke up and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah,
it was time to wake up though.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've had those dreams too, where it's like you can feel your heart kind of pounding, and then right there, it just like you wake up kind of in a weird way. But yeah, then you just sit there just staring at your ceiling. You're like,
yeah,
whoa.
There was other one. I mean, I've talked about him before, but obviously the one with Q that was years ago that we spoke about. I remember when as a kid, I had a dream of an evil Diego, Dora's cousin from. Don't laugh.
I mean, I'm trying to understand why. Like, you just didn't like him.
It was after Dora was still airing, but like Go Diego Go just aired.
So you didn't like the fact that he just showed up.
I was like, who's his cousin? What you mean? You just made this up. Where's Dora and Boots?
Yeah. Okay.
He was doing adventures and shit. He was like so much cooler. But that was that one.
He was so much cooler, but I just didn't like him.
When that one, I remember even when I was younger before that, I had one of an evil Santa. In my dream, I was like in my old house in Fairhill, and I went down to the basement, and like, there's like furnaces and shit in the basement. So like I walked down and he was just like in front of the furnace, so that was like flames and shit and like coal, and he just like hunched over it, and it was like an evil Santa.
So the Grinch.
Nah, he looked like the Coca-Cola Santa, like the white beard and everything.
Maybe he was just cold. Maybe he was just trying to make sure your house was warm.
Probably, but why'd he come to Fairhill?
Bro, he got to go into all the children.
Yeah.
He can't skip out.
I ain't never heard of Santa going to no basement. Roof, attic, living room.
Yeah, he was in there, and then he realized he's like, "Dang, I ain't got the heat on. All right, I'm gonna go downstairs and fix it.
Turn it on for
him." You just happen to come down.
He was just hard at work. That's why he looked all hunched over in my dream.
Dang,
here I am,
supposed to be delivering presents. You got me doing this.
Here I am, scared as shit.
Hey man, yeah, your dreams are pretty intense.
It's all right though,
I feel like I have dreams for the most part sometimes, but like I just don't ever remember them. And I want to like write them down, but I just be so tired. I'd be like,
yeah, I at least want to know what triggers them for me, because like maybe it's because my sleep schedule's kind of all over the place with work. Because like some days it's like, all right, I gotta go up and be in the office early or whatever, so I'll go to sleep early. And then other days I'm like, I work till late, and then I have like editing to do or stuff to do like in general. So then I go to sleep like fucking 2-3 a.m. And then once I get like a consistent schedule, I feel like my body's like, oh, you could dream now. And then that happens. But yeah, I just want to add that before we talked about other stuff. I had other stuff in line, and until last night, something else came across, and I was like, I got to talk about it. Each of us as Puerto Rican men got to kind of mention what was happening at that Trump rally. I don't know if you saw.
I actually didn't see it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Where have you been, sir?
I feel like I would have heard something about that.
You definitely should have. There was a Trump rally in Madison Square Garden last night or the day before.
Oh, I heard something about the guy who said about
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe.
about
He's a comedian. He does like a roast show or like where he gives night like a show that like allows other comedians to do time and stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Called Kill Tony, and he's done like the roast of Tom Brady and a bunch of other. He's a comedian. He's funny. Like I'm not gonna lie, and I wasn't a fan of like Kill Tony stuff prior to this, but he got hired, I guess, to go do the Trump rally and like tell some jokes or I don't know what. But then he went on stage and was basically like, yeah, like there's a hot pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. I think it's called Puerto Rico or something like that. And he just went on this crazy, like, he's like, oh yeah, these Hispanics love to like pop out kids or whatever. And then he pointed out some black guy in the crowd. He's like, that's my friend, whatever, John. He's like, we just carved watermelons together last night for Halloween. It's just like all this,
What
like,
was the point of you being there? Just to make racist jokes?
in a sense, yeah, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I just like when you go to a rally for something political, like why was that your jokes to go about? I don't know.
Yeah, like, I get you're a comedian or whatever, and like, cool, that's fine.
I just
But
think
in this certain, like, unless some people say like, oh, he did it on purpose to like push the election in Kamala Harris's favor, which I think is a huge reach. And then
It
there's another
is.
part where it's like, yeah, he just tells jokes. Maybe he doesn't mean it or whatever. But like in a sense where this is like it's different to do it on your show, which is a comedy based show, versus doing it at a Trump rally in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from election day, and in a room full of people that genuinely believe what you're saying is not a joke.
yeah, I was gonna say like doing it for something as far as like this whole political idea is like it's such a sensitive area of to say stuff like that because you don't just have people in the Trump rally like watching or listening. You know, it's pretty much like everybody still is looking and watching that. So like, yeah, I just think you making those type of jokes is like this wasn't like you say, it's okay, I guess, to do that stuff in your actual show.
Yeah.
But to do it at some type of political rally, it's like
At Madison Square Garden in New York City, where the
Yeah.
Puerto Rican population is through the fucking roof.
yeah, I just don't see why you thought that those type of jokes are the jokes you wanted to like
Let
lead out.
fly.
Yeah, like you wanted to talk about. Like you
Yeah.
could have just talked about anything, man.
Yeah,
you could have
yeah.
even talked about political stuff and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
would have laughed because they know about it. Like that's why they're there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I said like this whole political thing is like you would think going into it you wanted to cater to like maybe more political stuff because that's just what
The
people
vibe
are.
is.
Yeah. But you said, nah, let me just make a bunch of racist jokes.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
And then to like also build on top of that is like your track record in general already with Puerto Rico is just like it's not great considering how you handled Hurricane Maria at the time and you just like free throwing paper towels at us and shit.
Mm.
So then to double down with that and like have him do that was not cool. It makes it
I
even
guess
worse.
That's why they did it. Like,
Yeah.
told them to do it.
Yeah, but you could have like changed the narrative. Like you could like you're
You
still
just didn't want to.
you're still looking for votes. Like let's not get it twisted. Like it's not a guarantee that you've won.
Yeah.
So like any vote towards you is gonna help you. Like even if you don't like the people or not, at least fake it until fucking November 6th. Like
Hey man, it's gonna show out. I mean, hey, Trump said if he doesn't win, he's not actually gonna rerun. That's what he said.
yeah, because the man's older than fucking Biden.
Yeah.
Then he's older than Biden was when he ran for his like when before he got elected president.
Got you.
So by the time 4 years are up, he has another chance. Like he already sounds like out of it now. That he does not sound as sharp as he did when he first won office in 2016. I can't imagine like what state he's going to be in like in 4 years from now.
Yeah.
So, or if not to sound like but I think he's in his 80s.
I think
or
he's
like
like
just turned-
79 or something.
Yeah,
right?
he will
he's-
be in his early 80s, early to mid 80s. So like
Yeah.
his years of being like not to be a dick, but like his years of being alive are limited. So I'm sure I would hope at some point that the Republican Party will have somebody new that will like actually fill his spot at some
Yeah.
point. Like you can't just keep having more things like this happen. Maybe just unplug and replug it. Huh? Yeah, I hear it.
Okay. I was just making sure. Okay.
There you go. Where was I?
I'm just gonna hold it like this.
Thank you. What was I saying?
Re-electing.
Yeah, like just
Okay.
not doing stuff that's gonna like harm you being reelected. Like he's gonna be, yeah, that's where I was saying that he's gonna be very very old by the time his next opportunity to run would be. Um, and it's just more like disappointing as well because we've had like 3 or 4 Puerto Rican artists come up to his rallies and like endorse him already prior to like the whole thing how he handled Hurricane Maria. Now you do it again, and now this guy comes after you already endorsed him. This guy comes out and shames the island that you're talking about. And then immediately after that speech happened, Bad Bunny went out to the story and posted Kamala Harris basically in like her video with her plan for Puerto Rico. It was just like he posted it 4 times. The first video was normal, and he just kept zooming it in. Like he posted like on his story like multiple times, just being like, "Yo, like, look at the difference in response." So I'm just ready for this shit to be done. I'm ready to get text. I'm done with getting texts on my phone about the election. I'm done with hearing the political stuff. I just want it to be over and done with. Whoever's gonna win, just win already, and we can move on from it. Because I honestly don't know anymore. I would like to think that I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't know. Like you said, I feel like to me it's a coin toss, and it's like the amount of ads, the amount of text messages, the amount of just like people coming to your door, all that stuff is just I'm kind of over it now at this point.
Even just today, I believe, I don't know if it was in New York or somewhere else nearby, but they like burned up a bunch of like ballot boxes, so a bunch of votes just got like destroyed. So like early voters. So that's another thing that's happening. And yeah, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. November 5th is gonna be interesting. I don't know. We'll get back to it when it happens, you know?
Yeah.
But that just like blew my shit. And like how much time we got? We got time. I don't really care. Like it's like my issue here, if it was like a feasible candidate for the Republican Party and like like the person has solid ideas, like cool. Like I could understand why you would want to vote for this person. But as him as a person, this is no longer like a politics thing. This is just like he just like is not it in any sense of the word.
You can tell he just doesn't really have any interest in it. He just doesn't care. I think he reached to the point where he used all his ammo, I want to say, in the beginning of the race, and he's just kind of like whatever about it. I feel like he feels confident of like the votes that he's gonna get, and he's just kind of now, I feel like, just trying to get the last little bit of just voters by doing just silly stuff, and hopefully like people would just
literally doing what he did in 2016, like on steroids, just trying to be as outrageous as possible and like have the people that actually believe in that stuff tag along.
Yeah.
And even the people that are on his side are starting to like notice that and be like, yo, like I want to vote for you, but can you please explain to me X, Y, and Z? Like give me a solid answer and I'll root for you. But just then he gives his response, and each time the person's like, yo, what the fuck? Like Joe Rogan was just on Joe Rogan, and that whole time he was just asking questions, and you could see Joe Rogan just being like, yo, like what happened to you? Like what's going on here? But the actual point that I was trying to make here, and even bringing this up of him just not being a solid option, is like, if you are anything under as a person of color, as a woman, as somebody who's a part of LGBTQ plus community, anybody with a daughter, sister, mother, wife, girlfriend, anything of that nature, anything that's not basically a rich white guy, if you're voting for this person, you're an idiot. And I don't know how else to put that, because it's getting to that point where we're very close to election, and there's no way to mince words to even like make that idea feasible that you think is a good idea to vote for him. I know that we don't have a huge following, but if anybody comes across this and realizes it, then our job with the platform that we do have is done. I don't think there's a single policy that somebody can list saying like, oh, like Trump is a solid option there. The only thing that I've seen that has like words on paper is his tax plan, which is just with numbers have shown that it favors people who make like basically $250,000 a year up, which is not most people.
And
then in counterpart, they have shown Kamala Harris's version, and it helps the people who make significantly less, like the working class and below. So, like I said, if you're not a rich white person, I don't see how you can vote for this man. And that's a lot of you guys. So that's point number one. Number two, disregarding, this is not even mentioning the felonies and potential like court cases that he has going on that have not been resolved, or the actual recordings of him saying really fucked up shit about how he like basically sexually assaulted women, have been in certain like cases where he's given hush money to women. The pictures he has with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not saying that other politicians within the Democratic Party also don't have pictures with him because they're on that list. I've seen it. Bill Clinton, all those people, the Clintons and all that shit. But he is also a part of that. So we will also damn both sides. I don't give a fuck about what your party is. It's fucked up. If you're somebody who's a person of color, he's already shown time and time again that he either wants to get rid of you or accuse you of some shit that you did not do, like eat cats and dogs. Or if you're from Mexico and you're working here illegally, then you're going to get out. If you're from anywhere that's foreign, like Puerto Rico, and if you're like Hispanic, it's like, oh, he didn't mention my island. If he feels that way about Puerto Rico, which is actual like United States owned land, how do you think he feels about Dominican Republic, Cuba, Haiti, any other place that you could think of within that area or anywhere else really?
Yeah.
He feels the same way about you.
Honestly.
If you have an accent, he's going to look at you less than because he knows you're not from here. Like that's just his vibe. That's just, he's shown time and time again, he does not respect anybody that's not somebody that's like him or somebody that supports him.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people who are Hispanic or people of color who like just without shame endorse him, while he shows time and time again that he does not respect you or represent you in any type of way. And I'm still waiting, unless you have an answer or anybody else, still waiting for somebody to like counter argue that. Because people say, oh, he's not racist because he hasn't gone outwardly and dropped the N-bomb like on TV or something. Like it doesn't take for somebody to be that to that degree to be to see that they had where their like values lie.
Yeah, there's hints and stuff about it that, you know, you can tell from previous stuff, and like, yeah, you might not see it publicly, but again, like he knows not to do that because it's just going to ruin his chances. But he'll try as close as possible. And then if something happens, he'll just, you know, try to go and cover it up and, you know, say what he needs to say. But it's like, it is just crazy to see how people will go and follow that man. And like, I feel like he's talked about, to be honest, I feel like he's talked about every single type of person, to be honest, regardless of your skin color or religion, whatever it is. I feel like he's talked about every single person. And it's like, if you're not in the same kind of class as him, then he won't talk about you.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's talked about every single type of person. And people will probably not say anything. People who are like endorsing him, who he has talked about, like I said, they're probably just like, oh, well, he didn't say like directly towards me. So it's like they don't feel a certain type of way. It's like, okay, sure, he might have said it to the person next to you, but I'm pretty sure he probably would say the same thing to you too if he felt some certain way towards you, you know? I don't know. It's all weird. And as far as like, again, politics and person as a whole, he's just somebody who never should have been in office. I'm gonna just say that here.
Already, like, even besides that fact, like, it's like, oh, can he run the country? He has numerous failed businesses aside from that. Also, like, even with you saying that, I kind of want to like, I'm not trying to like double back or like back off of what I just said, but even looking at, like, I don't even think I think it's more so like everything about him is just personal gain. Like you were saying, like he doesn't really care about like the position. He just wants to like have it just to say he has power, things like that. Because I don't even think he believes a lot of the shit that he just spews out.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's more so like we were talking about earlier, where it's just like, let me just say the most outrageous shit possible, because I know that like lower income racist people are going to go for it and they're going to follow him blindly, which has been the case in the last elections. And it looks like that's what his same strategy is this time around. So yeah, I don't really get it. And then the people who try to like reference back to how great things were when he was president, I've talked about it numerous times before. Anything that happens politically, any bill, anything that somebody puts into office, anybody who's ruling at the time, doesn't take you don't feel those effects until years after. So for the instance of like when Donald Trump came in, he was just coming off of an 8-year tenure of Obama, like fixing a bunch of shit that Obama came in during a financial, like the biggest housing crash that we've seen in like years. And he pulled us out of that and and we were in a growing trend. So Trump walked into a great position. Then he had his 4-year time and you start to see that decline again. I will say those last 2 years. There was a pandemic, which we would have seen decline with whoever was in office, whether it was Democrat or Republican. So yeah, anybody would have seen a decline or a struggle due to a global pandemic, because that was just the entire world felt that. That wasn't Democrat or Republican. That was just something we haven't seen in like over 100 years. Now, could he handle it better? Absolutely, because he denied the fact that it even existed for a lot of the time. It could have prevented a lot, and that's an issue that I have as well. Which I have a mother and sister who are in healthcare, and like if he would have handled that a lot more simple and not disrespected the fuck out of it, could have been handled a whole lot better, and my parents and my family would not have been as in risk as they were going into work every day. Two Puerto Rican women, by the way, that like did that shit every single day. So that's what like my long list of beefs with the shit he's done. So, but yeah, like he came into that situation as president. We had a pandemic. There was a bit of a decline. Things were cheaper because we were in a pandemic and we were trying to like sustain our economy. We got a stimulus check, which we would have gotten no matter who was in office.
Yeah, wouldn't have mattered.
That was not something he did. He just made He just made, which smart enough because people are still hung up on that. He made it a point to make sure his signature was on each and every check. So people could be like, oh, he did this and he wanted the credit for it, which was going to happen regardless. It did not matter who it was.
Yeah.
But now, which a lot of the stuff that he signed into office is we're seeing the effects of now up until 2025, including his tax cut plan that we have right now, which is making a lot of things expensive, the tariffs that he's trying to impose, and things of that nature. So it's the same thing here. Now, no matter who comes into office in November 5th, and this will continue, like if things continue to suck, we are seeing the effects of what happened from Trump's presidency, Biden's presidency, leading up to now. It's going to keep, and it's going to continue to happen always.
Yep.
That's always how it's going to be. So if things, and I believe I said the same shit when before Biden came in on this podcast, I was like, Trump did all this shit. We're not going to see the effects until Biden's in, and Biden's going to take the shit for it. Biden just did 4 years with him and Kamala Harris, with the entire House and everything, denying a lot of stuff that they were trying to put out there. That's why you feel like nothing has been done. I don't want to see him on a mic anyways. It is what it is. I didn't see Harris until it was time for her to run.
Yeah.
So
she just showed up out of nowhere, out of thin air.
So, you know, I'm not gonna act like that's not the truth. We've openly talked about our criticisms about Biden and Harris before all this stuff came up.
Yeah, Biden's just old.
Yeah.
And Kamala's, I don't know, she just showed up, like I said.
Yeah. She was a district attorney. She like held a lot of office prior to this. She has political experience. So she also was voted in as vice president, which is, that takes like effort and building credibility and
hard work
stuff to do. But yeah, my like closing thing, instead of just ranting and just talking all over the places, we had Trump. He had his time. He didn't get reelected. He had an opportunity to. He lost to Biden. No matter how you want to put it, he wants to say it was stolen, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, he had his time. He had a chance to get reelected. He did not get reelected. Biden had his time. He had a chance to get reelected. He was like, I know I'm not getting reelected. I'm out.
I can't do this.
We gave these two guys a chance, and it failed. That's the only way I can chalk it up to, is that it failed for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
There's one person here who has not gotten a shot to lead the way and call the shots. So if you want change, don't put the same person back in a position when things were shitty.
That's true, if you think about it.
That's the only new name here. If you want something different, you got to put somebody new in.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. If it doesn't work, then fuck it. She's the worst president ever. Like, you could say that. But you're not even giving it the opportunity. You're just trying to recycle the same names over and over again and expect a different result.
All Victor's trying to say is Victor Rivera 2024.
That's all I'm saying.
For president.
That's really all I've been trying to do this whole time. I've been talking shit about both sides.
He's been subtly trying to put in your guys'
to let you know that I'm the real answer. Not even 2024, because I'm not old enough yet.
Oh, that's true. He has to be like 30.
Talk to me in 2034.
Yeah. You'll be seeing his face everywhere.
Exactly. Absolutely not. I hate politics with every part of my being.
Hey.
It just sucks that this has become such a reality show type of thing. Like, why are we having comedians do stand-up at political rallies? We need to be talking about real shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to go off into different tangents, but I mean, that's with a lot of stuff nowadays. It's like things aren't just like what it's supposed to be, in that sense of like sports. Like it's not just sports. No, now you got
a
sports
show.
added with a whole other stuff, and now it's like,
Halftime performances,
yeah,
pre-performances,
exactly.
commercials, and
politics, same stuff. It's not just people talking about how they're going to make plans to make the country better. No, it's like, oh, how can we make this a comedy? How can we make this like a spectacular show, like it's a music video or something? I don't know.
And that's not even their jobs. Leave it up to the entertainment shows, like SNLs and all those people. Like they should be the one making jokes.
But
is what it is. I will say though, he had Tony Hinchcliffe and like a bunch of other old weirdos at his rally. You know who Harris had at his rally? Beyonce.
They didn't.
You know who else was there? Jessica Alba. Got my vote. Son.
Yeah, got my vote. Wasn't
Bryan Cranston was there?
Wasn't Meg at one of them?
The Stallion?
Yeah, I thought she was at something, or she did something for her.
She might have. I think she was at some. She did something. I don't think it was a rally, but I think
it was something.
I
didn't know what it was, but I feel like I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I had a bunch of people there, but I saw Jessica Alba.
So Jessica Alba.
She still looked the same.
She doesn't age.
She does not.
She doesn't age.
Jessica Alba.
One thing I gotta take away, guys. Jessica Alba.
How much time we got? Just take 10 minutes. Just think about Jessica.
That's just all I think about. Look it up right now. Nah, but I mean, it'll be over soon. Everybody, whoever is out there and is annoyed as we are about the ads and text messages and all that stuff, it's over. Almost over soon.
Hope so.
And then eventually,
inauguration day. Then it'll be over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
January something.
I mean, you won't get any more of like the text probably. Because that'll be over.
Yeah.
You might still get the ads because I don't know exactly how that works is when they cut that stuff off. But
my thing is like I want to say like just before we get out of here, honestly at this point I know I've called people that vote for him an idiot. Vote for who you want. May it be a genuine fair election. Whoever gets the most votes in electoral college votes wins. And let's leave it at that. I don't want this to drag on. I don't want this stolen election shit happening and then dragging out. I don't want no bloodshed. I don't want no January 6s. I don't want. Let the votes be counted, and whoever gets the most or whatever, they won.
Just walk off.
Leave it at that, and then we'll run it back another 4 years.
Yeah, and we'll be annoyed again.
We're not gonna feel like every time this happens. This is somebody who was like upset during the 2016 election when Trump went into office, whatever, and it happened. And like what like nothing, like my house didn't blow up. Nothing crazy happened. Racist people are a little bit more bold. I'll say that. That was a big one. But outside of that, whatever happened was going to happen regardless. Because they like, even if they're obviously the face of everything, but they're not the end all be all. There's other people in the House and the Senate and other shit as well. So as much as it's like whoever wins, whoever you think is going to win, it might suck in your eyes that the other person did win or whatever it may be. If the opposite side to you wins,
just got to kind of deal with it.
Just take it on the chin.
Yep.
Just business as usual.
Yep.
Don't need to fight each other. Don't need to kill each other. Just call it a day.
Just love each other.
Yeah. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if we did more of that, we wouldn't have people making watermelon jokes at rallies.
Yeah.
But Mark, where can they find you or any parting words?
Just go and vote,
November 5th.
I think.
And if and I don't know if it's too late to sign up for early voting or mail-in ballots, but if it's still time for you, then maybe try and do that. But just make sure your voice is heard.
Yeah. And just, like I said, vote, because it would suck for something to happen and then you sit there and you complain about it, but you didn't vote. So you might as well just go and vote for somebody, at least, whoever you think is your option.
Don't be like, it don't matter. Don't be that guy. Don't be pa qué?
Exactly. So just go out and vote, regardless, and whatever happens, happens. But you can find me on Instagram, Marky Mark. Victor, where can they find you, and etc.
Find me at ETC Victor and at Real Etc. for all the etc. stuff. Our links are in the description as always, baby. We love you guys. Appreciate you always. We'll see you in the next video. Adios.